What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Another video means another dopamine high, excited to buy something that feels something, and today we're back at it with another review. And this review will be continuing the Jazwares, the Spartan Collection Wave 7 train, and this might be the finale of the train despite this being the third review in the wave. Usually the waves consist of 4 figures and maybe a deluxe. I know that we got the Spartan Killer way before these figures came out, so technically this is the 4th review and there should be a 5th one, but however you want to look at it, we are down one figure, and that is the Urori figure. For whatever reason, no one can find this figure, and Jazwares will not tell us why we aren't seeing this figure. Like, no one even saw this figure at the San Diego Comic-Con, where they showed all of Wave 7 and even all of Wave 8, which was really weird but cool to see at the same time. So no one knows where the Urori is. We don't know if this figure is even coming out. So like I said, this might be the finale of the Spartan Collection Wave 7 reviews until, we hear anything else. Let's just assume that is the case. But for today's review, we are taking a look at Halo 3 Master Chief, a long-awaited figure for the Spartan Collection, and I'm actually glad that they're giving us Halo 3 Chief in this wave rather than one of the earlier waves, because if you haven't watched any of my videos about Wave 7 so far, I am dubbing Wave 7 the Revival Wave. This is a return to form, a return to the quality that we saw in Waves 1 and 2, where the knee articulation was great, and so was everything else, and so I'm very happy that they are giving us this long-awaited, much wanted figure in a wave where the quality of the Spartan Collection is at an all-time high right now. So very happy to see that. But at any point during or after the video you do realize you want to pick up this figure for yourself, unfortunately there still is no option to get these figures online. The only way you're going to be able to pick up these figures is in person in GameStop. It doesn't even seem like that Walmart and Target have a Halo section anymore. So yeah, there's only one store you can go to, that would be GameStop, in person, unless you want to feel the wrath of eBay prices, because oh my god, are they terrible. So good luck with that, and with all that said, let's get into the review. So here we have the packaging. Of course, the figure is there with everything included, and then looking on the side we have a nice little photo of Chief, and on the back we have a bigger photo of Chief in color, a description of everything that is included, and then on the bottom we have the rest of Wave 7, Rip Urori. And with all that, we can open up the package and get started. So starting off with the articulation in the head region, we can rotate the head 360 degrees, which is always nice to see on this figure. And then you can have him look up and down a decent amount as well. So very happy to see that there. And then when it comes to the head tilt, there isn't really one, but at least you can have him look all around if you want. So you can have him express himself in a variety of ways. So very good to see that there. And overall, very happy with the head articulation on this figure. And then taking a look at the arm, we can rotate the arm 360 degrees, which is always nice to see. And then you can bring up his arm an okay amount, not the end of the world, and that means you can open up his arm an okay amount as well. So again, not the end of the world. And then of course with the tricep bicep area, it can be rotated. I would say 360 degrees, but at a certain point you do bring that shoulder joint with it, so do what you will with that information, but it is nice to see that articulation there. And then with the elbow, again, with this entire wave, it's kind of alright. There is a range of motion there. I just wish that the figure could achieve a shoulder tap, but after that it is what it is. And then finally we can rotate the hands 360 degrees and bend the wrist however we please, which again is nice to see on this figure. And overall, very happy with the arm articulation. I wish there was more range in the elbow, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is an issue that we've seen in the Spartan Collection for a long time, so I'm just kind of used to it. And looking at the torso, unfortunately there is no range of motion whatsoever. We've seen this with the rest of Wave 7 and the Spartan Collection prior, unfortunately. So hopefully one day Jazwares can fix this issue and have our super agile super soldiers be able to move their torsos around. And then finally, being able to look at the legs, we can rotate the legs 360 degrees, which is always really nice to see on these figures. And of course you can swivel the thigh independently from the joint that is at the waist, which is always really nice to see. It allows for more range of motion in the thigh area. And then we can bring up the leg a decent amount, so you can have him sit off the ledge of a cliff or in a chair if you wanted him to, and we can get a really nice split out of him. I want to say maybe 90% of a split, still really good nonetheless. And then moving down to the elbow, we get that really nice elbow bend that we are seeing with Wave 7. It looks good, it feels good, very happy to see that there. And then moving down from the elbow, taking a look at his feet, you can rotate the feet 360 degrees and bend the ankle however you please. So very nice to see that there. And overall, very satisfied with the leg articulation. I have no complaints whatsoever. And I'm overall very happy with the articulation on this figure. We just have that elbow and torso issue that we've seen with this wave so far. After that, everything else is great. Starting off with the swappable hands that will need to hold our accessories, we have 2 open hands, 2 trigger finger hands, 2 holding hands, and 1 tactical call out hand. And for our first weapon included, we do have the battle rifle. Now, we've seen this battle rifle before. This was included in the Target exclusive Spartan 2-pack. This is based off of the Halo 2 anniversary / infinite model of the battle rifle. It is a great sculpt, great mold, and everything. But me personally, I wish that Jazwares actually gave us the mold for the Halo 3 battle rifle, seeing that we are getting the Halo 3 Master Chief. Now, like I said, I love the sculpt of this battle rifle. I have no complaints with it visually. I love how they give us the little blue tint on the sculpt. It's just more of a preference thing. This is me more being nitpicky and me being a lore nerd. So again, this might be something y'all don't care about, but me, I thought it would have been cool if they just gave us a new mold for the battle rifles. And then for our second weapon included, we do have the Magnum. Now again, this is not the correct mold of Magnum. This is the Reach mold, whereas in Halo 3 it's a completely different model, and I wish Jazwares would have given us that. But to be honest, I shouldn't have been surprised, because Jazwares loves reusing the Reach mold of the Magnum, because here is Combat Evolved Master Chief, Sarah Palmer, and Jerome holding Reach-styled Magnums that they shouldn't be holding, because in those games there wasn't a Reach-styled Magnum. But that, don't get me wrong, I do love the sculpt, the line work, everything that they did with this Magnum. It does look great. I enjoy the color scheme. I even enjoy the red lights that they got on it, so I do enjoy this visually. Just me being a nitpicky lore nerd, I wish they gave us the Halo 3 mold instead, but otherwise I do enjoy the visual presentation of this accessory. I really think Jazwares did a great job with it. And if you want to display your weapons on your Spartan, you take the piece of plastic, turn it around, expose the peg, put the peg in the peg hole, and there you go, all nice and tight and looking good. And it is the same exact principle for the back. You take the plastic out, turn it around, expose the peg, you put the peg in the peg hole, and there you go. And if you want to put the peg away, you just do the complete opposite of what I just told you. So there you go. So usually in this segment of the video, this is where I go on a 1-minute rant talking about how much I love or hate how a figure looks. But in this case, there's actually some comparisons to be made, because this is, the Halo 3 Master Chief, which uses the same mold or a very similar mold to the Halo 2 Master Chief. So I figured it'd be more fun to compare those two figures and go over some other details I'd like to address as well. Now, in the realm of articulation, the only difference between the two is in the knees. If we look at Halo 3 Chiefs, he obviously looks much better than Halo 2 Chief, because Halo 2 Chief came out in a time where Jazwares was giving us this god-awful knee articulation, and with Wave 7 being the revival wave, they fixed that issue, and that is seen here, and it is phenomenal. So articulation wise, the only difference between the two is the knees, and they get the big one out of the way, and that is the shade of green they chose for Halo 2 Chief opposed to Halo 3 Chief. For Halo 2 Chief, they made him this obnoxiously bright neon green color, but like even in the game, Halo 2 Chief isn't this bright of a green. It's brighter than Halo 3 Chief, but it's not this obnoxiously bright. I don't know what Jazwares was thinking. A lot of people did not like this, and I am one of those people. And then for Halo 3 Chief, they actually gave him a much darker shade of green, a perfect shade of green for Halo 3 Chief. I love it. It looks great, and I haven't seen anyone complain about it so far, so very happy to see that change made. And one thing I want to make clear before comparing and contrasting Halo 2 and 3 Chief, I'm only going to compare and contrast the things that Jazwares has done, whether it's something they forgot or added or messed up or did really well. I'm not going to go over all the things that Bungie did when, making Halo 3 Chief opposed to Halo 2 Chief, because obviously when they made Halo 2, they didn't have the same technology. When making 3, they were able to get more details and add more to Chief's design. So of course they took some artistic liberties and changed up some of the smaller details, even though they are wearing the same armor. So again, I'm just going to address what Jazwares has done, not what Bungie has done, so I don't make this segment longer than it needs to be. So starting off with the helmet, one improvement that we can see already is that with Halo 3 Chief, they actually filled in and painted the flashlight, where on Halo 2 Chief they didn't do that that at all. And then moving down a bit, another improvement that we see is that they actually filled in and painted the piece of armor around the shoulder or just behind the shoulder, whereas in Halo 2 Chief they didn't touch that at all despite it actually being filled in the game. And then if we can turn the helmets around for just a moment, we can see that the bottom lower part of Halo 2 Chief's helmet is black, and unfortunately they didn't paint the AI chip port. And then if we look at Halo 3 Chief, there's no color there at all. I don't know why. That part is supposed to be gray alongside with the AI port. I don't know why Jazwares skipped out on this and decided to take a step backwards rather than also painting that part, and even take a step forward and paint that AI chip port. And then moving on down to the back, we can see that Jazwares actually did color in the vents on the pieces of armor that poke out a Chief's back for the Halo 3 Chief. They didn't do that for Halo 2 Chief. The vents there are supposed to be colored in, but they didn't do that for whatever reason. And then moving down to the base of the pieces of armor that poke at a Chief's back, there's supposed to be a gray and black base going around them, but for some reason Jazwares left that out. Now granted, I do believe at the end of the day, small details on a figure can go a long way in the terms of visual presentation and really make a figure come to life, but I don't think necessarily that this ruins the figure, so I'm not gonna get upset over it. And I know after calling this out, I'm going to sound like the most nitpicky person, the largest lore nerd known to man, the most anal YouTube, whatever you want to consider it. I'm going to sound like the most whiny bitch for noticing this, and I need to make it very clear I'm not mad that Jazwares didn't get this detail down. I'm not upset whatsoever. I just noticed this while recording the lines of the video and going back and forth and comparing the in-game models to the figures. All my time of being a Halo fan, which has been a very long time, I've never noticed this. This isn't like something that's been dwelling inside of me. I've just noticed this, and I just figured I might as well point it out. But around the waist armor of the figures, both figures, there are little black details and lining that are supposed to go throughout the waist armor, and Jazwares didn't apply that at all. I'm not saying that this ruins the figure at all. Again, it's something I've noticed that I figured I might as well point it out. I have no issue, no quarrel with this at all, because it's such a minute detail. Yeah, it would have been cool if they, got those details down, because, attention to detail is very nice, and like I said, I like to think that even the smallest of details can make a big difference in a figure, but I feel like it's so minute here that it wouldn't make or break the figure at all, and I just need to cover my ass and not try and sound like the largest whiny bitch known to man. So I figure I just point that little detail out and continue on with the rest of the video onto more valid and larger things that Jazwares has either missed out on or have applied to these figures. So moving away from the torso and the waist section and going over to the arms, starting off in the shoulders, and we can see immediately there is a huge difference between these two figures. I have no idea what they did with Halo 2 Chief. I don't remember seeing these shoulder plates in Halo 2 in the original or Anniversary Edition at all. I don't know what design they pulled from, but I don't remember seeing this. So if anyone in the comment section can give me an answer and give me some clarity on why the shoulders look like this, that would be very much appreciated. But then going over the Halo 3 Chief, we can see Jazwares has given us the right shoulder plates and they look great. I have no issues whatsoever with the sculpting. Very happy that they just gave us the right shoulder plates for Halo 3 Chief, so very happy to see that they improved upon that. And then moving away from the shoulders down to the tricep, bicep area and the forearms, Halo 3 Chief is supposed to have black detailing and lining throughout those parts of his arm, but Jazwares decided not to apply that there. And weirdly enough, if we look at Halo 2 Chief, they did get the black detailing on his forearm, and there's none on his tricep, bicep area at the time, so there's nothing to worry about there. So I don't know why Jazwares did apply those details on 2 Chief, but not on 3 Chief. It kind of seems like a step backwards in my opinion, and I will be a little more nitpicky about them skipping out on these smaller details opposed to the smaller details on the waist armor, because the waist armor, it is what it is. Those were such minute and small details on a part of the body and we're not really focused on. as opposed to the arms, which are, you know, body parts that we're constantly going to be moving around and articulating and focusing on. So I feel like it would have been worth Jazwares' time to actually get those smaller details down, and it's just unfortunate to see that they didn't do that. And then moving down to the legs, we can see that Jazwares did apply some of the black detailing on top of the knee armor for Halo 3 Chief, which is supposed to be there, so very nice. But after that, it's just Jazwares again missing some of the black detailing and lining throughout the thigh and shin / calf area of the armor. Again, it's not the end of the world. I care more about the details from the waist up rather than the ones from the waist down. It still would have been nice to see. I'm not gonna, like, you know, dock points for this. It doesn't necessarily ruin the figure. It's just something I wish they would have done, because it would have just really upped the quality of life and the visual presentation of said figure. And then for the last thing that I will be complaining about and just be a complete nuisance over, and that is the feet of the figures, because for whatever reason they went all out with Halo 2 Chief. They got all the colors that weren't green, you know, painted, and it looks great, you know, from the toe to the heel to the strap of the boot. And then for Halo 3 Chief, they decided just to not touch any of that except for the middle of the foot. They did paint that black, but for whatever reason they didn't want to touch the toe or the heel or the strap of Chief's boots, and it just kind of, you know, looks bland and boring, and it kind of bums me out that they decided to skip out on this, even though they did it with a previous release. So I don't know what that's all about, but here we are. Now, I feel like I have to make it very clear. I know it sounds like I just ragged on these figures for 8 minutes straight, but this segment is more so for educational purposes. Yes, I give my opinions throughout this segment, but this is just to show, you know, the people who care, the accuracies or inaccuracies that the toy companies make when translating whatever figure they're making from the media that they originally come from. So yeah, this segment is more so for those who are curious to see what they did nail and what they missed out on, but to give my actual thoughts and opinions on this. Yeah, I do care about some details that they didn't get, and there's some details I can care less that they didn't get. I more so care about the details from the waist up, because that is the part of the figure we'll be looking at the most. I'm not saying details from the waist down aren't important. Like, one detail or a few details I wish they did get from the waist down are the details on his boot, because even though the boot is a small part of his body, that is a lot of color missing from that one part of the body. But after that, I don't really care about the details on the shin or the calf or the thigh. They're smaller details that I don't think anyone else would really notice, especially a kid who is buying this product. This is more so just something me, a lore nerd, recognizes, because I've been playing Halo for a very long time, and there's a lot of knowledge I've consumed about the Halo universe and all that jazz. So it's just something I have a more keen eye on. But again, at the end of the day, some of y'all might care, some of y'all might not care. It's all subjective, and this segment, like I said, is just for educational purposes. So hopefully I don't sound as much of a whiny bitch as I did initially, and yeah, let's move on. But I almost forgot. You can be uber-based like my father, Evan Productions, and actually touch up and apply some of those details that Jazwares has actually missed out on, and make your figure look 10 times better than it did at a box, because he's a very silly man, and he really likes it when his figures are uber accurate to their whatever media they come from, because he worked really hard on this, and he totally didn't brag about it for days and days on end. So starting off with the chest area, he did apply some grit to the battle damage that we see on Chief's armor, and honestly, it does look a little bit better. It looks more real. It looks, you know, grittier. So, you know, that's very pog. And, you know, he added some nipple lights to Chief, even though we don't see that in game. I feel like it does add some life to the armor. And then turning Chief around, looking at his helmet, we can see that he painted the part of the helmet that's supposed to be gray, even the AI chip port, which is really nice. And then moving over to the arm, we can see that Evan did address some of the black detailing that Jazwares missed out on, and again, it looks really good. And he even went as far to address the lack of color on Chief's boots, which also, again, look really good. So yeah, no, he did a really good job at improving the overall quality of life of the Halo 3 Chief figure. But looking past the black detailing or the black line work that either Jazwares has missed out on or nailed, I feel like there's a bunch of other things I love about the visual presentation of this figure, starting off with the shade of green they chose. Oh my god, it's so good. It's much better than what they chose for Halo 2 or even CE Chief. He doesn't look like a neon highlighter, so very happy to see that. And then the sculpt work, there's so much to be talked about here when it comes to the sculpt work of this figure. All the little details that they did get down are there, and you know, with all the line work and all the curves and inclines and declines, everything in the armor that they got down, and it looks great. So yeah, all the little details that, you know, even if they didn't paint them, they sure as hell did sculpt them, and I can appreciate Jazwares for doing that at least. So yeah, I don't completely hate how this figure looks. And let me be real, I don't hate this figure at all. I think the visual presentation is great, nonetheless, without the black detailing or black line work. It's just something I wish that they would add more of into their figures. So I think after all that, Jesus, I think it's time to put this boy into scale with some size comparisons. Starting off with Jazwares The World of Halo Infinite Master Chief, then McFarlane's Halo 3 Master Chief, NECA's Aliens Xenomorph Warrior, NECA's Jungle Hunter Predator, Hasbro's Star Wars The Black Series Republic Commando, and finally we have McFarlane's The Doomslayer. And here we are at the turntable segment in the videos. This is pretty much where I go over I like, dislike, pros, cons, strengths, weaknesses, and just stuff like that, general thoughts and opinions, and give you all something to bounce off of and go down in the comment section below and get a conversation started. And I'll most likely reply to y'all's comments because obviously I like talking about this stuff. And as usual, I want to start off with the sour, the things that I found iffy or kind of just, you know, irked me the wrong way. And starting off with the simple stuff first, and that would be the articulation, not throughout the entire figure, just predominantly in the elbow and torso area. The elbow bend, don't get me wrong, it's not terrible. There is a okay range of motion there. I just wish that he would be able to bring up his forearms up just a little bit more. He doesn't need to do a shoulder tap, but, you know, just almost there, because the better the elbow bend and the more the forearm can go up, the more mileage and the more usage you can get out of accessories included with your figure and other accessories, obviously. And then the bigger problem in the realm of articulation is the torso and the lack of torso articulation, because, you know, these are Spartans, they're super soldiers, super agile, and it just sucks that you can't really move your torso around because that just limits the possibilities for poses and displaying options and stuff like that. So it really sucks to see that Jazwares still hasn't found a workaround for that. And then moving to the more subjective things, obviously there's the black detailing and lining, which I'm not gonna go any further on about. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just watch the visual presentation segment of the video, because I go on it for a good minute. And then the last subjective thing that I don't think it's a bad thing, I just, you know, wish they did it differently, and that is the weapons included. I wish they give us the Halo 3 mold of the battle rifle and a, you know, Halo 3 Magnum rather than the Halo 2/Infinite battle rifle and the Halo Reach Magnum. But again, that's just more preference. I don't think it ruins the figure whatsoever. And that's pretty much all I have to add on to this figure. At the end of the day, I do enjoy the look and feel of this figure for the most part, and I don't really care about the accessories. I just thought it would have been nice to get Halo 3 weapons with your Halo 3 figure. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it's all up to preference. Some of y'all might not care about that. Some of you might care about it even more than I do. So, like I said, it's all preference. And I do recommend picking up this figure, especially if you are looking into getting into collecting Halo stuff or getting back into it if you stopped at one point, because this is a great looking and feeling figure, like I said, and it's the Halo 3 Master Chief, the best looking figure from the best Halo game in the franchise, so no better place to start. And if you're just someone who likes collecting action figures, you don't care which franchise they come from, this is still good for $21.99. You get a bunch of swappable hands, you get decent accessories, decent visuals, and, you know, really good articulation. So at the end of the day, this is a really good figure for what you pay for. So yeah, I cannot recommend this figure enough. And I just want to apologize to anyone that I might have left confused towards the end of the video, because I know I couldn't really keep my story straight on whether I like this figure or not, but I do like this figure. I do a lot. I'm very happy that Halo 3 Master Chief is now part of the Spartan Collection line, and, you know, just getting the accessories out of the way, because that's the easiest one to clear up. I do not hate the accessories included. Yeah, sure, I'd prefer if they were their Halo 3 models, but they're not, and, you know, I just kind of have to live with that, and they are still objectively good accessories. He holds them, he wields them well, so there's nothing wrong with the accessories. It's just more of a preference thing. And then when it comes to the articulation, the only issues I have with the articulation are the torso, really. The elbow is just more of a preference thing. I just kind of wish he'd bring his forearm up a little bit more so he can get more use and mileage out of the accessories that he wields. And then when it comes to the visual presentation, I have no issues with the sculpt work. I think the sculpt work on this figure is phenomenal. You know, they got all the little details down, and I can appreciate that aspect. And when it comes to the shade of green they chose for Chief, I think they did a great job with that as well, so I have no complaints about that. And then when it comes to the black detailing and the black lining,
Again, they did get some of it down, which I'm happy about, but there's some stuff that they left out, and some stuff I can care less if they got, like stuff around the waist or on the calves or shins or the thigh of Chief, but stuff more towards the upper top of his body I do care about a little bit more. But again, I don't think it ruins the figure. Yes, I'd prefer if they did add it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I do love how this figure looks. So hopefully that, for the final verdict, and for the all of y'all's sanity, that clears up everything about how I feel about this figure. And if you did enjoy today's video, a like and subscription would be awesome. You don't have to comment because that's a lot of effort, I get it, but if you do want to bounce off anything I did say in the video, you're more than welcome to. I love replying to y'all's comments because obviously I like talking about this stuff, and I don't even think I have a bell option. I know I've been saying it's broken for a long time now, but I don't think I have that. If I do have the bell option, you can hit it if you want, but we both know that shit is broken. And with all that said, if you want to check out more content like this, there's plenty of it up on the channel. I have reviewed all of Wave 7 prior to this, so Alice and Fred are out, and I have reviewed other Spartan Collection stuff as well, but I also review NECA stuff, specifically the Alien and Predator franchise, and I do review Star Wars stuff as well. So if any of that does interest you, you're more than welcome to go check that out. And with all that said, please have a great day, and please stay hydrated. It's important.